Welcome back to another episode of the Daily Vedantic. And today's reflection is on a question I recently got in one of our gatherings here in Venice, where someone aptly said, isn't desirelessness just another desire? And right they were. It is actually talked about within the philosophy that the desire for liberation from desire, which talk about why you'd want to liberate yourself from desire in a second, but that is the healthiest desire we can have. And ultimately is the desire underneath all of our other desires. You want to be healthy when you're sick. You want that fast car. You want that big promotion. You want that financial milestone in your career. These are all desiring liberation from some constraint we feel. You don't feel validated by your community. You feel boxed in by some definition of you that you don't agree with, that people are going to see how great I am. It is called misguided mumukshutva. And mumukshutva is that yearning for liberation. These are all just misguided versions of seeking where peace exists. And that is through the cessation of desire. Think about the last time you had ice cream. It wasn't the ice cream that you craved. It was the craving for that ice cream that you wanted to satisfy. Once you get it, once you have that first bite, that second bite, you can even see it in the ice cream line. People kind of doing the ice cream dance, excited for the ice cream they're about to get. The more disciplined the people, the more excited the dance might be because, well, it's happening. They went through dinner just thinking about, we're going to get ice cream after this. The peace doesn't come from the taste hitting your taste buds. The peace comes from a cessation of this yearning, of this desire, of this craving that you feel like you can't control. The only way to cease it is to fulfill it. In the moments that we are unable to fulfill it, that interrupted desire is when we have stress, strain, anger, sadness. These are all desire interrupted. So if we're in a life that we feel like, man, there's just so much suffering within it. There's so much yearning, agitation, stress, sadness, or anger. Or we're just in the wheel where it's like, man, this feels like it's deja vu. Something good happens, something bad happens. Something good happens, something bad happens. That is the wheel of samsara, of involvement. And we might tune our antenna to trying to transcend this suffering. Transcend this agitation or anger, or this Ferris wheel of going up and down through life. Not everyone has this yearning to transcend suffering. If you don't have that explicit yearning, then, well, maybe you think it's in that new MacBook, or it's going to be in that car, or that nice watch, or once you find a spouse. And this video has no relevance to you. So you click stop watching it, never think about it again. But for those of us that have seen enough of the world to recognize, even if it solves my problems, how do I solve suffering at large around me? Alleviate the suffering and the strain of the people we love. Well, we're told within Vedanta, when you wake up, like the waker within a dream, when they wake up, everyone wakes up. The dream ends, and all suffering is transcended. Quite the promise. And somewhere along your path, something like this interests you, especially with a promise so grand like that, to end your and all suffering around you. And then you have this conundrum. Suffering is caused by attachment and desire, and yet we're called by this philosophy to attach to non-attachment and to desirelessness. They're both saying the same thing. It's described like making a fire with a log. You get the fire going by making sure everything's situated. You see the embers, you see the initial flames going, and you are guiding the fire along with this log in your hand. The desire to end desire is that log in your hand. Then, once you get that fire going, it's cultivated, and it is raging. And the last thing we do is throw that last log into the fire itself. We sacrifice the selfish or unselfish desire to end suffering. What I love about this philosophy is that it has a full, comprehensive understanding of what it means to be human, of our wiring to attach to things, to people, to ideas, our wiring to desire. And it says, utilize that. Hijack that wiring to attach, to desire something higher. Don't go from 0 to 100 miles an hour. You can gradually attach to something higher and higher and higher. But ultimately, the highest desire is even sacrificed along the way. You throw that log into the fire. After you've used it to cultivate the fire you throw it into. That is desiring desirelessness. And that is the Vedantic path to liberation. We'll see you next time on the Daily Vedantic.